Hey, what's going on, fight fans? Manny back at it again, man. Welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is Boxing Cafe. On today's video on Boxing Cafe, I'm going to be recapping this past weekend's fight card on ESPN and ESPN Plus. I'm going to dissect it, discuss a little bit about some of the fighters, what I like, what I didn't like, so on and so forth. But before I get started, I appreciate you guys drop a like, comment down below, let me know what your thought process was. What did you take out of the fights? Did anybody impress you? Did anybody disappoint you? Was there a particular fight you liked, didn't like, so on and so forth? Would love you guys to comment down below and chime in on this, because the whole objective here for me moving forward with Boxing Cafe, just like I had said on Friday, is I want to get engagement with the other boxing fans other than myself. I want to be able to have a hangout here. I want it to be a community that we just discuss, agree and disagree, everything that comes about being a fight fan or being someone that just loves sports in general. So would love that to happen. Comment down below. Let me know not only about the fight, but let me know if this is something that you really want to do. Be able to have a place that you can go to and engage. I would love to be in the position to put this channel into a point where I'm actually engaging with my audience on a live stream. So instead of having a video of a pre-fight weekend, I can have a pre-fight stream. I can have a recap stream on Monday night where I go live and we can discuss the events or what happened on Saturday night and so on and so forth. And I think it will be even more better. But again, let me know down below in the comment section if that is something of interest to you. If it is, man, I'll get it cranking going into next weekend if that is the case. If I get more than enough people that want to do that and get together on a Friday night, you know, for an hour or two to discuss the fights for Saturday, and then of course get together on Monday night and having a place to just chill out and relax and just bullshit about the fights that went on Saturday. We could discuss them on Monday. All right, so let me know down below. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel as of yet, make sure you do, man. You'll be able to get your highlights. You're going to continue to get your highlights. I already have 3 or 4 fights from the event on Saturday already up. If you want to follow me on social media, in the description down below, pretty much everything is down there. I only have a TikTok and an Instagram, Boxing Cafe, at Boxing Cafe for TikTok. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's boxing_cafe to reach me there. And other than that, right here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe, put on your notification bells, so this way you don't miss out on anything that comes your way here, okay, on the channel. All right. With that out of the way, let's just get right to it. So yeah, very interesting fight card, man. Obviously we had a bummer with Tellez Guillon being a little bit overweight. Well, not a little bit, he was 5 pounds overweight, but we'll discuss that a little bit more when I get to his fight. Sip on a little bit of coffee here. You can sip on whatever you want, water, juice, sodas, beer, whatever it makes you comfortable. All right, I'm going to start it off with the Bruce Carrington fight. So Bruce Carrington, Shushu from Brooklyn, was a big-time Gold Glove winner here in New York. I'm from New York as well. I grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Shushu is from our neighboring town, actually like a little rival town back in the day in the 80s. He's from Bedford-Stuyvesant. He went up against Stephen Brown. They were both undefeated, but Brown now is 1-1. Shushu just now moved up to 2-0. He was 1-0. Very interesting Shushu, you know, very talented, no doubt about it. My take on him is he's got some good speed. He's got a little bit of good boxing IQ. He kind of knows how to work his punches inside. He's got good punching speed, power, as well as speed. Very agile, as you can see. I mean, you know, he has a little bit of pop. He wasn't facing somebody that was going to be any threat to him, but then again, he's just an up-and-coming prospect, just like any other prospect. You want to see them evolve. My thing with all these fighters that were fighting Saturday night, because there was a few of them that are fairly young and is still coming up the ranks. You got to give them time. You know, they got to evolve. With each succeeding fight, we have to see a little bit more improvement, a little bit more, you know, showing us that they are working on their craft and making themselves even better fighters with each given fight. So I think he has a lot of talent. I think Carrington is going to be someone that's going to be, you're going to have to keep your eye on. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's on my watch list for sure, simply because of what he brings to the table. He has some really good skills. Can he now be able to just continue this ride and continue to grow within the ranks? Give him 2 years or so, if he can get up to about 14, 15 wins and be 15-0 with about, let's say, a 70% knockout ratio, there will be opportunities for him in about 2 years, 3 years down the line. But he is a young prospect. Again, he showed up. He came in there. He showed a little bit of good defense. I mean, granted, poor Mr. Brown, he was outclassed. He put himself in a position. He got a little vulnerable there, and then insult to injury, he got knocked down. And in the process of getting knocked down, the referee didn't get there long enough, and he ended up getting a two-piece with an uppercut and left hook just to really finalize and finish him up for the night, which is very dangerous. But nonetheless, Shushu Carrington definitely did come out pretty well on this fight. To me, in my opinion, I think he's going to be someone you got to watch out for. Other than that, the next fight that I'm going to discuss real briefly is Pink Tyson. Going up against Carla Torres. I've seen Pink Tyson fight only one time against that Gonzalez girl last year, and that's the only time I ever seen her fight. I wasn't too impressed when she fought Gonzalez. I wasn't impressed with her in this matchup on Saturday. I was more impressed with the girl that came in 6-6, which I'd never seen before. Puerto Rican chick, Carla Torres. She came in there and she got busy, man. The girl can defend. I mean, granted, Pink Thomas has some flaws. I don't know why they're not rectifying them in the gym. She still is taking those looping, long, wide punches. She definitely is aggressive. You got to give her a lot of respect. You got to give her a lot of kudos. She goes in there and she battles. She's getting her ass beat around, getting punched, getting counter punched like crazy, and she continues to just keep coming. So she definitely has a lot of heart, but sometimes, man, heart is just not enough. You got to build your skills. Her skill set is really, really poor. She doesn't really work her jab well. She doesn't utilize her jab to set up anything else. And then she pretty much charges. She's kind of squared up a little too much when she's throwing punches, not really getting behind her hips and her backside a bit. And that's a concern for me. I mean, I see that kind of stuff. I'm just like, I don't know. So I wasn't impressed, but I was more impressed with Carla Torres. I mean, can you believe Carla Torres fought the fight she fought? Granted, she was fighting Pink Tyson, who was throwing wide punches all the time. I mean, she was definitely open for a lot of uppercuts, a lot of freaking hooks, and just a lot of counter punches. And she, it was like a piece of cake for her in the ring. Could you believe this lady? It was 6-6 coming into this match. She showed some really good skill, in my opinion. She showed a lot of good skills. She had good shoulder rolls. She was able to avoid punches. She got a high guard when she needed to, blocked a lot of punches. Granted, when you have a fighter that's coming in with wide looping punches, I mean, it's a lot easier to just maneuver yourself and block punches and counter. But I would like to see her fight some better competition. I'm really, really surprised she lost 6 fights. I don't know who she lost to. I will have to definitely look into her history a little bit. But 6-6, she's now 7-6. I think that she came off pretty good. My judging was I had her winning pretty much 6 out of the 8 rounds. Carla Torres. I think Pink Tyson won maybe possibly 2 rounds, and maybe she probably didn't even deserve to win any round. But I had a 78-74 in my scorecard when I did the scoring. And again, an 8-round fight. Tyson coming in at 11-2. Now she's 11-3, and Carla Torres 6-6. Now she's 7-6. So I like to see her a little bit more in the future. So that that's pretty much there. Not anything other than Carla Torres definitely looked great, and Tyson did not look as good. Next fight I'm going to talk about is Jeremiah Milton. He's an up-and-coming heavyweight. He came into the match 3-0 with 3 knockouts. He was fighting Del Long, who's a little bit of a veteran, 6-8. Milton, he looked pretty good. He had, this was a quick workout for him. He was in there. He was only in there for like a round, in a quarter, and it's just not, I mean, again, just like I just said about Carrington, the guy has a little bit of talent. It looks like he has punching power, but again, he's not fighting anybody really, really that good right now, and that's the right way to go. You have to take these baby steps so you gradually bring up the opponents as he gradually, slowly but surely, gets his stamina up, is able to increase it from 4 rounds to 6 rounds, and so on and so forth. It's the natural course of how you start your boxing career. You can't really just jump up. You're not everybody is a Lomachenko, who came in there with over 400 amateur amateur fights. He was a pro before he even became a pro. So that's just the bottom line. When you have that much amateur pedigree and you've been playing, you've been fighting, and you've been in all these major events and Olympic Games and all that, it's a different story. That's why Lomachenko was able to come up the ranks a little quicker, because he was ready. He was already a pro before being a pro, if you get what I mean. So, but Jeremiah Milton and some of these young kids, that you definitely need them to get a little bit, have a couple of fights under their belt. So, I mean, didn't like the reach a little bit. Other than that, his opponent wasn't that good. So I mean, when you have an opponent like that, and the only thing I could do is just be patient, in which he showed some patience. He put punches together. He looks like he's very fine with his punches. They're sharp, they're smooth, they're straight. He looked like he was balanced. Would love to see him be a little more relaxed. Some of these heavyweights that I saw Saturday night, him and Shaw, they were kind of like robotic in a way. Just a little bit more looser, a little bit more bounce. A better waist movement and head movement, and look like you're really comfortable in the ring. I think that Jeremiah Milton is someone you can definitely watch in the heavyweight division. But again, he came in 3-0. He's now 4-0 with 4 knockouts. So we'll see how he progresses and what Top Rank, do with Jeremiah. Next after Jeremiah, you had Nico Ali Walsh. I just go over here. Nico Ali Walsh was fighting Mr. Yeager. I'm just trying to find a picture. Here goes the picture. Look at that nice little left hook there by Nico. Nico looked okay, man. I saw some improvement in him. I have, I think, 2 of his first fights out of the 3 I have up. I actually have all 3 fights. I think one of the fights I didn't post. I think it was the second fight. But this one will be, and I got pretty much 3 out of his 4 fights. All 4 fights I've actually have recorded, to be honest with you. I think one of them, is the second fight I did not post. But nonetheless, if you look at all 4 fights right here on Boxing Cafe, I do have them, at least 3 of them. You'll be able to see there is some progress in Nico. Now, granted, Nico is still fighting, a bunch of, guys that he should be fighting. He shouldn't be fighting anybody that is up any higher than he's in right now, because he's pretty much never had really a big amateur career. So he is basically still very raw. He's very green. He definitely needs the time to develop. But we can see that he has a little bit of power. He does have some speed for the middleweight division. This is a matter of, can he get a better defense? Where Nico is about getting that better defense, getting comfortable, being relaxed. And he showed that he was getting more relaxed. He was getting a little more comfortable with his strategy, how he's going to go about attacking. And that looked a lot better in this matchup than it did in the previous one. What I like to see is just, obviously, his defense has got to get better. But again, if he puts in the work, that's what you want to see as a fight fan. You want to see if these potential prospects are going to be actual contending prospects or become contenders in the next year to 2 years. Nico going to 4-0 after being 3-0 with 3 knockouts. He's on his way. But he slowly but surely has to make improvements, make sure that defense is getting better, making sure that he is even more and more relaxed in the ring. He's starting to get really, really comfortable there in this matchup. His jab is good. He does have a good straight right hand. He likes the 1-2 punch. Maybe not 2. He threw some left hooks in this matchup, and some of them were pretty devastating, as you can see here in this photo. So, kudos to Nico Ali Walsh. He looks like somebody that, as long as he stays patient and he gives himself time, and he seems very humble, that he's going to take the proper steps slowly but surely. He realizes he has to improve in a number of areas, and he made some improvements. Now let's see if he can continue to make improvements. But, we can't judge him just yet. We can only just see if he is developing. And if he develops, if he has a setback where he gets knocked down in one of these fights in the early stages of his career, that's what we're going to have to see. Can he come back to the ring and really still establish himself down the line? At the moment, as long as he keeps winning, keeps developing, he keeps getting better and better, getting faster and faster, sky's the limit, of course, in his division. So Nico Ali Walsh, I think, again, he looked pretty good. I like the patience. I like the calmness, and him being more relaxed. And his bounce is a little less bounce now, but he's moving. He's just got to keep moving that head a little more laterally, bend the hips a little bit more. If he can do that and get really, really comfortable, I think he's going to be fantastic in this division in years to come. So we'll see what happens there. Next on the card, we have Stephen Shaw versus Joey D. And if you ask me, Stephen Shaw, He looked okay. I mean, for me, I've seen him fight one other time. This was only the second time I've seen him fight. He still seems to fight the same way. We know he has power. I guess he knows he has power. He hasn't shown a difference in at least from the last time I saw him fight. I didn't see any major changes in him. He still looks a little robotic for me. I mean, like a little stiff when he throws his punches, but he's very good with just being straight. He throws his punches good. Puts combinations okay together, but then again, he's another one. He didn't fight anybody really that good. A guy that was out of shape. Now, the beauty of it is the one thing that I would love to see from Shaw, I kind of saw from Joey. Even though Joey is a shorter guy, he's actually obviously came in there overweight and out of shape. But Joey D, he is a little bit more agile. You see how he is able to be loose with his hips. He's able to, avoid punches, slip with his head, and, and dip down, and just, he looked smooth. He looked like a fighter. The only thing is he's out of shape. He was fighting a guy that was obviously taller, bigger, stronger, and in better shape. And that sometimes is going to be, is going to be your Achilles heel. You're going to find yourself that you're not going to win fights because you're out of shape. But Steven Shaw, 15-0. I would say we have to wait and see how everything pans out with him. He definitely has some power. I would love to see him get a little bit more relaxed in the ring, have a little bit more of a bounce, a little bit more movement of the upper body. But we'll see when he fights someone that really can bang a little bit, and we'll be able to test that. I had him winning the fight all along before the stoppage, but a TKO in 8 rounds. I think he could have TKO'd the guy. I think he could have knocked the guy out by the 3rd or 4th round if he really wanted to. But for whatever reason, he was just a little hesitant. So he's got to show a little bit more of that killer instinct as well. Like when you have somebody a little bit in the ropes, go right after him. But he kind of like let up, and he really didn't quite go for the kill when he really needed to. But nonetheless, he gets the job done. He's out of there in 8 rounds. He gets a good workout, if anything. And I guess Joey D gets a chance to actually, be on television for 8 rounds. And I think he was okay with that. But again, man, when you have a fighter that's much bigger, has longer reach, better wingspan, and so on and so forth, and has a little more power, that was definitely a tough spot for Joey D to be in. So I think Shaw looked okay. I definitely need to see a little bit more. So that's the deal with Shaw there. And then we had Tiger Johnson. He's an up-and-coming kid from Cleveland, Ohio. He goes to 2-0, came in 1-0. He's an Olympian. He's a former Olympian. Another good fighter, man. He has tremendous speed, but, kind of like in love with his just 1-2, 1-2. I guess that's his go-to punches, just throwing the jab and following it up with the right hand. Again, these youngsters, you just got to give them time. It's just like Nico. It's just like Carrington. It's all the same thing. Milton, all these guys we saw Saturday night. Every one of these guys, we want to see them continue to just progress and get better. Now, Tiger Johnson as well as Carrington, Bruce Carrington, these guys have been fighting in their gold gloves and Olympic trials and try for Olympic teams and all that. So they have, an extensive, good competitive resume from the amateurs. So they're going to naturally be pretty good fighters just to begin with. But you still want them to take their necessary steps, just gradually increase your workload, gradually increase your opponents. And I think that's what they're going to do with Tiger Johnson. And I think that's the right thing to do. You never want to rush these kids really quickly. But again, puts punches together nicely. His defense a little bit flawed in some spots in that matchup. But, he throws, like I said, he throws that 1-2 punch a little too much. I had to fight him. I had him winning all 4 rounds, in that fight. I had the same score as some of the judges at 40-36. So Tiger Johnson, we just got to wait and see. We just got to wait and see how he develops and how soon Top Rank put him back out there and get him to have his 3rd professional fight. Next we have, after Tiger Johnson, now I'm down to the last 2 fights of the night, and you guys let me know what you thought. Now, first things first, we're going to discuss the co-main event. The co-main event was supposed to be Luis Melendez, who I was looking forward to fight Rene Tellez Gueron. But Mr. Gueron decided to be 5 pounds overweight on the weigh-in. So, unfortunately, that bout got scrapped, and it got scratched, and Luis Melendez didn't fight. So here comes in, 135, who was going to fight that night. He rather take the bigger fight, and that's we're talking about Cabrera, who has been out of the ring for like 2.5 years. who's been out of the ring for 2.5 years, he has an opportunity now to say, hey, you know what? I want to step up and I'm willing to fight this guy, because he knows being in the co-feature is probably better than being on the undercard, which is a smart move by Freddie Roach and everybody else. And considering that he was at his weight of 135, Talez Giron had to come up, and he was 135, who was supposed to fight at 130. He was already fighting up at his weight. So it was just perfect for Cabrera to just take that fight. And he took the fight, and he ended up really pretty much beating up Talez Giron. I mean, for me, I think Rene really had a rough go. I had the fight 78-74, just like one of the judges. I had him winning easily 6 or 7 rounds in that fight. And you know, I wasn't too impressed with Cabrera. I mean, I've only seen him fight one time before, and he wasn't that impressive to me. He's really awkward. He keeps his hands low, southpaw. He kind of pity pats a little bit too much. Like, even when he's in the clinches, he really doesn't really load up in his punches well. He's a big guy, and he's actually looks big for 135. He probably came into the ring at 138, 140. But nonetheless, he weighed in at 135. But he has a big frame, wide shoulders. You know, he's a guy that could be, you know, I mean, for Giron, this was a tough hurdle. He had to go and reach to this guy. This guy was easily 3 or 4 inches taller than him. And he just looked so much more bigger than Rene. So, I mean, I just find that he was very awkward. You know, I just don't like the way he throws his punches. A lot of pity patting. Some of them like really pity patting, very, very light. But overall, he was effective. He was landing the punches when he needed to. He was good at being, you know, defending punches as well as possible. He moved away from certain punches. It was more of an easy match for Cabrera than it was for Rene Talez Giron. So, I mean, it was ugly. It would have been. I was really looking forward to Rene versus Lewis, and then of course that didn't pan out. So the one fighter that I really wanted to see the most that night was the main event and from the co-main event, and then of course watching some of the youngsters. But that was the disappointment, is that you know, Cabrera had to fight Rene Giron, and he really just dominated. So he goes from 18-0 to 19-0, and Mr. Giron is now 16-2. So he's fallen, you know, out of the rankings a little bit there with that. But I think it was a great strategy and a great idea for Cabrera to come in and take in the co-main event and be on the card where he was in the co-main event as opposed to being on the undercard. I think that was a great move to take on the fight. Other things that I take out of that, man, and again, Cabrera, not, you know, to me, like I said, I wasn't too impressed. I don't feel like he looked comfortable, you know, at times, and I don't like the pity pat punching that he did time to time. But overall, you know, he was kind. To me, it was, put it this way. I don't know if you guys agree. Comment down below. What's your thoughts on Cabrera? But I personally think he's kind of like a boring fighter to watch. For me, I just didn't have it. I wasn't too happy with this fight. Overall, not impressed with either one of the two fighters, to be totally honest with you. So this fight to me was definitely a bummer. But then we get to the main event, and you know, as we know, the main event here, we had Robson Conceicao and Javier Xavier Martinez. And I was disappointed. On Friday, I basically leaned towards Martinez because I like that he was a good counter puncher, kind of come in a little bit closer. I thought that he might be able to have enough power to hurt Conceicao, and he actually did in the third round. He did buzz him, but man, it was at the end of the round. It was like with 10 seconds or 12 seconds left. So, I mean, he really wasn't able to definitely stay on top of him and be able to put some more punches together and maybe possibly take him out. But that's the way it is, man. You got to roll with the punches. After that, he really just did not get in rhythm. I mean, you know, the one thing that Conceicao did that I believe he did excellently was that he was always getting off first. He did not allow Martinez, Xavier, to get himself set to throw any punches. He was always hesitant and he was always up in it. So when you allow your opponent to be more offensive and he setting the tone and he's the one who's getting off first, it becomes hard. And then Lewis never really got in rhythm as far as like getting his jab going and using his jab to set up his other punches. He didn't even jab a whole lot. It seemed, I just don't know. It just was not a bad performance. It was not a good performance by Martinez. Conceicao definitely, hands down. I had him winning 98-92. That was my scorecard. He pretty much won every single round. I had him winning 8 out of the 10 rounds. I mean, they fought 10 rounds. I had him 8 out of 10, and you could very easily say that he probably won all 10 rounds. If you ask me, some of them were close. I gave Martinez the third round for sure, because he did buzz him at the end. But maybe even that round could have been an even round, or you could have actually had Conceição ahead and winning that round. You could have gone either way. I gave it to Martinez because of that. But other than that, I got him winning I believe it was the eighth round. Other than that, that's it. So Conceição, great work by him. I like the fact that Martinez was a little patient, but then again, he became too patient, and he became a guy that was just observing and defending and not really trying to get close enough to be able to get his punches off and get his counter punching in, where he is actually pretty good. His style of fighting is to try to get a little inside, and then he stand on the outside. He's not that good of a boxer as Conceição, and that's why Conceição, to me, dictated what was going on in the fight. He pretty much controlled the fight with his boxing skills, and when he needed to really get at Martinez, he definitely did what he needed to do that. So, I mean, I think it was a great showing, man. Let me know what you guys think. Moving forward, obviously, he's someone that's a contender in this division. Could he be a world champion? Maybe. I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say he would not be, because, again, anything in the square circle can happen. And as long as you're in there and you got another guy on the other side, anything can happen. He can get knocked out, and he could be in a position where he can be fighting or winning a championship. But again, Martinez was definitely a disappointment. So Martinez goes from 17-0 with 11 knockouts. He's now 17-1, and Conceição now goes from 16-1 to 17-1 with 8 knockouts. He's not a big power puncher. Conceição, that's what's going to probably hurt him, but he definitely has some boxing skills. He's definitely capable of putting punches together. He's good offensively, as long as he is dictating the fight and he's putting the pressure and he's being more offensive, and that's what he did in this fight. And he was in great shape. His stamina looked very good. It looked like he could definitely go 12 rounds, 13 rounds with no problem. But that's my take on this weekend's fights, man. Let me know what your thoughts are on some of these fighters. If there was anything that was impressive of you, do you agree with me on some of the guys, as far as some of the guys being disappointing? Some of the fighters, especially Pink Tyson, who looked pretty raw. She looked pretty bad. But let me know down below in the comment section, man. And again, that's pretty much it. At the end of the week, I will be back. Well, stay tuned, because over the next couple of days, you're going to get the last of the fights. So if you wanted to recap and see the fights over again, make this the place for you to come to and check them out. Other than that, this weekend we do have a fight card. I will be reviewing that fight card, so I will be doing a preview of that fight card this Friday. So, and again, man, comment down in the section below if you guys want to be able to get some live streams going, and I'll be more than happy, and I'll be actually happy as hell to be able to be willing to do that and get together with you guys and talk some boxing, and at the same time drink some coffee or beer or whatever it may take. But that's pretty much it, folks. So that's where we at. So again, man, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done so already, follow me on social media. Everything is down in the description, down in the video below, and I'll see you guys, man, back at the fights on Friday, man. Peace out.